And how are y'all doing tonight? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and I am here live for my live review of this week's episode of NXT. The August 19th, 2020 edition of NXT took place once again at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. This is the go-home show for NXT TakeOver 30. Preview predictions will be tomorrow after I get home from work for NXT TakeOver 30, as the final card is just about put together from what I could see. Maybe one more match could be added after what we saw in that main event tonight. Of course, this is the first episode of NXT since September that aired live on USA without AEW Dynamite, because Dynamite has been moved around because of the NBA. So this week's episode of Dynamite is actually going to be featured on Saturday at 6 o'clock, right before NXT TakeOver 30. So maybe try to catch part of Dynamite for what I can see. Let me see here. My voice is off sync. What? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Not sure what you mean by that. Oh well. Anyways, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do about Dynamite this weekend. We'll see where it goes, but at some point, of course, I will review it. But of course, this weekend, of course, there's two big pay-per-views. We got NXT TakeOver 30 and SummerSlam. But anyway, so back to NXT though. Sorry, got off track there. So sorry. Tonight's episode I thought was pretty good. Better than last week's episode. I thought it was a pretty strong go-home show. Two pretty good matches for the second chance matches. Decent stuff with the women. A very fiery, no pun intended, of course, video package for the main event, which I will most likely do live reactions for. The main event, and maybe the ladder match. I'll do live reactions for also. Maybe. We'll see. So we got those to come. We had the promo with Adam Cole and Pat McAfee. Have a problem with that promo, which we'll get to that though in a little bit. And other than that, pretty good go-home show. I gotta say I was pretty happy with the show. And of course, for the first time in a while, I actually tried to tweet during a wrestling show. Haven't done it for a while because usually I'm distracted trying to multitask. But you know what? I did what I had to do for tonight. I just laid down, sit back, watch NXT, and tweet about it. And had a good time. And of course, I had my first poll of grades for a while, but of course, it looks like there's not too much activity on it for what I see right now. Only 3 votes, and it's a very lopsided vote for what I see. So, of course, if you are watching and you would like to participate in my poll to see what grade would you give NXT this week, hop onto my Twitter, DemandAirboy93, and place your vote. So, without further ado, of course, we've got Tyler in the live chat so far, which is completely fine. Let's roll in and talk about this go-home edition of TakeOver 30 for NXT. We opened up with the first of the 2 second chance qualifying matches for the final 2 spots for the NXT North American Championship ladder match. The match was Johnny Gargano versus Ridge Holland. And of course, I keep putting it over, of course, especially, a lot of people are mentioning it on Twitter. And I mentioned when NXT UK was around, definitely very interested in Ridge Holland for sure. He has a lot of potential for sure. This gimmick he has, I think, is very intriguing. This match was pretty good with him and Johnny. I can never, say a bad thing about Johnny in a wrestling match. Of course, I will say again, I've been saying this lately, I'm kind of souring on his heel run though. I really think that he just needs to get into another gear as a heel. I just feel like he's not. I don't know if it's because the booking he has, the way his character is portraying, I see a little bit of Sami Zayn. But of course, I keep reminding myself this is NXT. They're actually going to do something more than just, reduce him down to being just a mouthpiece. I mean, he still has good psychology and everything, but it's just, I feel like he's been stuck in that, like, first or second gear for a while. Like, we need to crank it up to another level for him. Which, of course, is why I think he should have a title around his waist. Which, of course, could be the North American Championship. Because, again, as I said before, Johnny's not had a lengthy run as champion in NXT at all. His run's been pretty short. The tag title already had was pretty short. The NXT North American Championship run was only like a month. And then, of course, the NXT Championship run he had was for like 2 months. So it's about time, I think, he gets taken a little bit more seriously, has a little bit of a more longer and serious title run. Especially to get his heel character, onto a different level as I feel it needs to be. A noteworthy spot of this match, though, which is a scary spot. Right at the end of one of the commercial breaks, Ridge Holland goes for this maneuver. There's a spot where Holland brought Johnny down and he would looks like he was going for some type of like a spine buster or something, but instead, or like a scoop slam, but instead Johnny literally landed on his head, and it looked like a very scary spot. Like I thought Johnny could have easily got a concussion from it or got some type of a head injury. Again, it looked pretty spooky. So I was definitely a little bit worried. Like when it happened, I'm like, oh my gosh! Like I actually was like held my breath because it was a very nasty botch, unfortunately, from Ridge Holland. But Johnny, thank goodness, was okay. He would continue on the match. I like how they on the spot incorporated it a little bit into the story of what was going on in the match. Of course, Candice LeRae getting involved kind of caused a little bit of a distraction, and eventually led to Johnny, though, winning with the one final beat finishing maneuver. One final beat. He wins, and he pins Ridge Holland. Gargano is in the ladder match for North American Championship. He's the fourth person at TakeOver 30, which cool by me. And as of right now, he's definitely one of my favorites, I'd say, to win that match. As I definitely think he's someone that could really use the win. As I keep saying, I just think his heel run is getting a little bit directionless, so it's like he needs something to kind of like, get him into another gear. And I do think a good lengthy run with the North American Championship, that could be the ticket. So we'll see where it goes. I'll think about it a little bit more before I give my predictions tomorrow for my preview predictions for NXT TakeOver 30. So we'll have to wait and see. So that was our opening match. We then had Dakota Kai take on Jessi Kamea. Just a quick match, but a solid quick match to give Dakota Kai a victory. Getting ready to get into her NXT Women's title match against Io Shirai. But then, after the match, she gets on the microphone. Says how Io must be out of her mind. Everything the champ said just proved her point. She thinks Dakota is afraid of her. Io is so focused on her past, she hasn't caught up with what she is now, which is true. Dakota has improved a lot over the past year. She's going to take that belt, and it's going to feel so good when she kicks her in the face over and over and over again. Out comes Io Shirai. They go to brawl, and then Dakota Kai was scooting her way up on the ramp as they were fighting, and then out came Raquel Gonzalez, who we haven't seen for a while, and basically they double teamed on Io and beat her down. So, obviously, again, I've been wondering where Raquel Gonzalez has been. She randomly just disappeared for a while. I'm not sure, maybe she was sick or something else went on. But, truth be told, it kind of took me out of this a little bit. Because wasn't it just one of her recent video packaging was last week where Dakota said how she wants to prove she can do things herself? So, if anything, I felt it should have stayed Raquel returning for the pay-per-view if she was going to help Dakota win the match. I do think they should have waited until TakeOver before bringing her out if this is what it was going to be. Because now it feels a little more obvious that Io's probably going to retain, Even though I mentioned again with how much Dakota has improved and how great her selling is, I wouldn't be opposed to her winning. So I'm still in between who I want to win. But I'm still thinking about it. But I still think they should have had Raquel Gonzalez return at Takeover 30 instead of this episode of NXT Takeover 30, because it might hurt some people's expectations a little bit, knowing that Dakota once again has backup before even going into the match, and wondering if she really does have backup or not. So that's a nitpick I would have probably waited for, if you know what I mean. So I had that little nitpick there. Speaking of, Dakota Kai, her former best friend, Tegan Knox, was interviewed by Mackenzie Mitchell, asking about what's going on with her and Candice. And she said what Candice said about her last week hurt. Because they're really close friends. These kind of disagreements happen, though, so Knox is confident they can settle things the way they used to, over a glass of wine. So I'm guessing next week probably going to get some type of like a segment with Tegan Knox and Candice LeRae at the Garganos with their Gargano House segment, something maybe. Who knows? We'll see where this goes. Could be an interesting match. Well, at some point we're going to get between Tegan Knox and Candice LeRae. I think a good story. They definitely have a good history together as friends and whatnot. So I'm like, why not? So we'll see where that goes. Then Finn Balor talks about his opponent tonight, Velveteen Dream, which we'll talk about him shortly in a second as well. The first encounter was cut off. He acknowledges that Dream is talented, but resents him getting a chance after chance, and it doesn't matter. Which, of course, probably was shooting on something else for him. After tonight, it'll be the same as ever. Finn over. We had Legado del Fantasma take on Breezango and Isaiah Swerve Scott in a 6-man tag match. Pretty fun 6-man tag. Continue to definitely become more and more of a fan of Legado del Fantasma. Again, I see tons of potential in there, especially Santos Escobar. And I do hope that someday these guys, the stable, does give more for a run besides the Cruiserweight division. I believe they will. Yeah, I just definitely think the sky is the limit, I think, for them. It was a fun, fast-paced, back-and-forth match. The confusing part, though, was towards the end. I guess Swerve got pushed to a corner where Tyler Breeze was, and Breeze had tagged himself in. So he came in, but of course Scott, though, didn't realize it at first, and he thought he was a legal man. But unfortunately, what was I going with this? It backfired, and eventually Legado del Fantasma gets the win as Santos Escobar hits the Phantom Driver on Tyler Breeze to get the win. Yet, of course, we're still reminded how Isaiah Swerve Scott is the only person in NXT to have a win over Santos Escobar. So I'm assuming as of now, there's no match planned between them for TakeOver, so I guess we're probably getting on an episode of NXT in the upcoming weeks. The fact that Escobar has not beaten Scott yet, so I still think that's a very interesting, story to go on. Simple, but it's effective, and it's a good way to put over Legado del Fantasma. And of course, it was also announced on the pre-show we're going to have a number one contenders triple threat match, and the winner will get a shot at some point against Imperium for the NXT tag titles, and it'll be Legado del Fantasma, Breezango, and a team of Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch, which I'll do my predictions for that match, of course, as well tomorrow. So we have that. Then we have this face-to-face segment with Pat McAfee, who comes out with former Indianapolis Colts teammate Darius Butler and Super Bowl champion AJ Hawk, getting ready to go face-to-face with Adam Cole. Here is the first thing that bugged me about this segment. Pat McAfee is supposed to be the heel in this, right? Then why, when we brought the Undisputed Era, why did the micromanaged crowd boo Undisputed Era? That made me angry. because once again, whether they are turning Cole face or not, nobody boos the Undisputed Era like they're getting nuclear heat. They're just badasses that happen to be heels, but we enjoy them. So anyway, so I didn't like that. But when he got into the ring, Pat McAfee enters and says he brought 28 years of NFL experience with him because he knew Cole couldn't come with his goons. Cole then sends the rest of the Era to the floor, so Pat climbs into the ring by himself. He recaps what happened 2 weeks ago and Cole's promo last week. Talks how Cole emphasizes how he made him look like a stooge and punted his soul out of his body. Cole may be the longest reigning NXT champion. Look like a fool. He's an amateur. He's made $1 million in 7 professions, and he better hopes he doesn't decide to make wrestling a full-time job, or this will be 8. Which I'm like, okay, whatever. You think you're a tough guy? Nope. But then Cole is like, are you done? And of course, some security stop him, but he takes them all out before he gets face to face with McAfee, and basically tells him he's going to make him his bitch. All right. I mean, again, I still don't understand. Well, first off, why they booed the Undisputed Era if Adam Cole's supposed to be the face in this feud, which I don't know if he's a full-time face or not, but he's definitely the face in this feud. Everybody's up here saying they love Pat McAfee's promo. I mean, to actually, get easy heat, it worked. But like I said, it just doesn't... To me, he still comes across as one of those guys who thinks he knows wrestling, yet he really doesn't. So he actually sounds like a fool trying to act like he's so tough and he knows things. So, yeah, I'm still really back and forth about this match. Like, okay, they're going to put over Adam Cole as a babyface, but again, why are you using Pat McAfee to get nuclear heat and put him over? Like, is there really any long-term plan for Pat McAfee? Not that I can really think of. So, who knows? So, we got that. We had a women's tag match with Mercedes Martinez and Aaliyah taking on Rhea Ripley and Shotzi Blackheart. Continuing to the feud between the Robert Stone brand and Rhea Ripley. Thought it was good. Everybody's favorite spot of the match was the nasty bump that Mercedes Martinez took to her back, which is very similar, of course, to the bump that Damian Priest took from Finn Balor in a match to take over In Your House with the steel steps. The babyfaces win. Looks like a Shotzi Blackheart got the win. Hit a reverse senton, I believe, onto Aaliyah as Rhea Ripley and Mercedes Martinez took care of each other. So, Aaliyah gets pinned for the babyfaces to win. Of course, where was I going with this? Shoot. I completely drew a blank. Oh, yes. If they're not going to do a 5th match, what I think they're going to do based off what they teased tonight, I honestly would not mind seeing Mercedes Martinez and Rhea Ripley both on a takeover show. I think it could be an excellent match, especially if you have, Rhea, who has experience wrestling at WrestleMania. So, win over Rhea could put her over pretty good. My only thing, though, is the fact that how did Rhea go from being in a WrestleMania match with Charlotte to literally just about almost nothing? It still doesn't quite make sense to me, but, it is what it is. We then, of course, get an exclusive preview of Keith Lee and Karrion Kross as a recap of their issues, and then, again, it was just a really good setup, with, how personal this rivalry has gotten to, and I really can't wait for this match on Sunday. Then the main event, Finn Balor versus the Velveteen Dream, were the second chance match. So, of course, last week I said, and I still agree with this, I heard some more information about this, I still think they brought back Velveteen Dream too soon. Although Triple H said in an interview within the past couple days that they found nothing to have Velveteen Dream in trouble. Hopefully that is true, and I can believe them on that. But I still think it was just too soon to bring him back and also put him into the title picture because he won this match. It was a good match, but I felt they probably should not put him back in yet. With what all happened, obviously, even though he according to Triple H, he didn't have any evidence to prove that he did any of those allegations. It's going to be hard for people to actually look at him and feel like he kind of lost something important to him and just lost his life pretty much because of what's all going on. So I think it was a little too soon, but towards the end of the match, all the other competitors came out and brawled throughout the ring, just caused some distractions, which I thought was a little bit slow motion or half-assed, but to me it still worked. For them kind of chasing around the title. And of course, Velveteen Dream won, like I said, with a good height on the Purple Rainmaker again. I'll say this way: they claim they found nothing, so I'll believe that until proven guilty. That's why I stand with Velveteen Dream, and I'm done discussing it as well. So yeah, we had all that happen, and that's the show. We give it a B plus. B plus for NXT this week. We have 3 votes on Twitter. One person said A, the rest said D or lower. Dang, nobody liked NXT this week. What is your dream Survivor Series? You got to think of that. World Pay-Per-View 2020 is Extreme Rules. I agree. And say goodbye to the fake crowd. Yes, finally. It was $130 to do, this video chat with one wrestler on the internet, which I think is very expensive. But yeah, I'm gonna give this show a B plus. B plus for NXT this week. Sorry guys, I'm starting to get a little sleepy, but I will do my Takeover 30 predictions tomorrow. Friday will be a SmackDown review, and then hopefully I'll also be able to do my SummerSlam preview predictions, and of course reviews of each show this coming weekend, and at some point AEW as well. So guys, check it out. That's my review on NXT. What are your thoughts on NXT? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. There's always a slap a like on the video, subscribe or comment on my channel, follow me on Twitter at DemandAirBarney3. And with that, I'll see you guys all later. Have a great rest of your night and sleep tight. Peace out, everybody.